You know, Rick is a college guy who watches the college game, analyzes it from that standpoint. And I love the NFL draft, but I just watch the NFL draft and just talk about these guys as collegiates and not try to scout them as NFL players. It's always interesting to go down the board and see the productivity in college versus what the scouts say. And I'm seeing guys like Devonte Fields way down the list at linebacker. I know he was defensive end. You know, where do you put this guy? A lot of guys transition from defensive end to outside linebacker in the NFL. So whether you have anything about Devonte Fields or anybody else, I'm just interested because there's a ton of names there that I'm very familiar with watching over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, Devonte Fields from TCU to Louisville and everywhere in between. He's got one of the more interesting and fascinating stories in this year's draft class. And, you know, I think it's kind of similar to the edge rusher that came out of Michigan State that went to the Raiders in the 4th round. I think Calhoun or something, the name is slipping my mind, but I think very similar type of situation where there's a lot of stuff that needs to be sorted through off the field, figure out what the deal is with this guy. And I think his one-on-one team visits and private workouts, when they get this guy behind closed doors, they're either going to fall in or fall out of love with him. But when you talk about pass rushing, getting after the quarterback, this guy's proven he could do it. He's done it at a very high level. He's done it at big-time programs. So Devonte Fields, I think right now I have him in that day 3 range, maybe early 4th round. But he could go in the later rounds. Who knows? He could go on day 2 as well. That's a very possibility too. And, you know, the other guy out there that maybe isn't being talked about a lot is Tyus Bowser from Houston. He's drawing the Leonard Floyd comparison, who went very high to the Bears last year. So if you like what Leonard Floyd does, you'll probably like what Tyus Bowser does. And then Duke Riley from LSU, I think, is another guy that's going to probably sneak into that top 50 range.